want some ginger ale.
Open it.
You know I can't do that.
You can. It'll be fine. Just go for it.
How long does it take for this to like subside after?
I don't know. Somebody said if you tap a couple times on top of it, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Read that in a book somewhere.
Just this calms down the fiery beast inside.
Yeah, there's a TikTok video on it or something.
Yeah. Are we doing TikTok now?
No. But I saw a TikTok video about it.
Okay.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Damn it.
Oh God.
Yeah. You paid the piper here. There's so many board games now. I don't want to do this. How crazy can this could be? What?
I don't know. Probably not bad. It's ginger ale. Oh, see?
Look at that!
Nothing to worry about.
Tapping works. What's happening, party people? Welcome to Punchboard Party. My name is Daniel. This is Father Greg. And Father Greg, it has been a long time since we've been together.
Yeah, not long enough. Say absence makes the heart grow fonder, but still waiting for that.
Didn't quite work out for you, eh? All right. Well, now that I feel great about myself, but we're back and we're excited to be back, party people. And you know what we're back for? This is the end of the year, Father Greg.
Yeah, I mean, we still got a month left, but, probably most of this won't change. Probably nothing's going to knock our socks off for the next month. Let's be honest.
It's tough because, December is sort of like a no-fly zone for me in terms of buying new games because Sarah's like, don't buy anything. So we figured that what we would do is we would rate our top 10 games for 2022. Mm-hmm. Now, because we are a different kind of board game channel, we play what we want, when we want. We don't go after the new hotness.
That's right.
We don't get all crazy trying to play all those games. Because what I realized is that I've played a couple of new games recently, and they're good. They're good.
Yeah.
But they're seldom great.
Right, I only played 4 games from 2022.
Okay. I don't know exactly what my number was, but yeah. So what we've decided to do, party people, is we are ranking the top 10 new to us board games of 2022. And so we're going to go through and we're going to tell you what the 10 best games for each of us that we played in 2022 were. And so in the comments down below, please tell us what the best games that you played in 2022 that were new to you were as well. Father Greg, want to kick us off with your number 10.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so most of my games I feel like weren't 2022 releases, but a lot of 2021s, maybe some 2020s in there, but a lot of them are recent. There's maybe 1 or 2 kind of older classics that I just had never played that were new to me, but yeah, by and large.
I guess mine are in the newer realm too. Yeah.
So my number 10, Foundations of Rome.
Whoa, that makes the list.
Yeah, for sure. I played it a number of times. It's a great little game. It's a big little big game, a big little game. It's one of those two.
yeah. A big little game, I think. I think that's the way to go with it.
Yeah, it's a very small gaming experience, but with these giant, big, huge miniatures. So the only thing that prevents this from being higher, I think, is just that I don't really take it anywhere. Right. It just kind of stays in my house because the box is so big that I don't want to sort of cart it around everywhere. But I have enjoyed every single time.
Yeah, and we've mentioned this before, that this is just crying for an essential edition. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, that seems like a good pick. I still haven't played it because you don't bring it anywhere. I'm sure it's in your car. Or has been in your car.
It has been.
Yeah, but I just don't let you play anything you want to play, apparently.
Every time we go over to dance, it's got to be Circadians or Gloomhaven or something awful.
Okay, you like both of those games.
That's true, I do.
My number 10 for this year was Underwater Cities.
Nice.
I finally got Underwater Cities played. Mm-hmm. People were always raving about when we were playing Terraforming Mars or we were playing Ark Nova. They were saying well, Underwater Cities is really good. It's in that vein. It's probably better than those games. But Underwater Cities, excellent. I love card play. I love hand management. I love worker placement. This does this all very well. Probably, one of the best in terms of giving you a really crunchy, meaty experience and a robust card game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Love me some Underwater Seas.
Yeah, Underwater Seas is great. Going off of that, this was kind of the year where I fell in love with Vladimir Suchy.
Okay.
So this was like a big year where like I played some great games by Vladimir Suchy. And so at number 9, I'll put Praga Kaput Regni.
Wow.
Nice, beautiful little game. Not a little game. A beautiful game about building a bridge.
This board alone is an assault to the senses.
It is. There's a lot going on.
It's so hard to figure out what's going on.
But it's just a masterclass. It's just like you do one thing, like you focus in one area, and it purposefully like pushes you into another area, and says like, okay, now you have to go do this. You're like, I don't want to do that.
So what's the core nugget? Is it worker placement? Is it action selection, or like what? Like
actions. Like a lot of like Vladimir Suchy's games have like a lot of little mechanisms. There's this thing which is like a little rondelle, and then there's this thing where you're moving up on these steps, and then you're putting tiles down, and you're moving a little worker like kind of down a path, and he's trying to get to the bridge, and then you got eggs, and eggs are worth eggs are so valuable, man. Eggs are like worth gold.
Don't forget all your eggs.
Oh man, eggs
don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Eggs are really valuable.
So you can't put them all in one basket.
Yeah, you probably only have like one. Like 3 eggs max. You're never like hoarding eggs.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, interested to see if my next number 9 is going to show up on your list.
Okay.
This is Bonfire.
Okay.
Bonfire, Stefan Feld. Really weird theme about gnomes losing their bonfire lights and having to go and find these light bearers, these elders out on islands, go sailing across rivers to find these people to relight the bonfires. And really, this game is just an excellent, heavy Stefan Feld game. This just brings everything that Stefan Feld is good at and brings it to the table in a big way. And that core action selection mechanism is really neat, where you have these just action tiles that you spend to do certain actions, and to acquire these tiles, you kind of play a little game of Tetris almost, where you have these just kind of bars of 3 that you have to kind of align on your little board, and any connections you make will kind of combo to get you these action tiles.
Right.
And you can do all sorts of stuff, like actions aplenty. This is like a very simple, on your turn you can do one of 3 things. First, do this. Second, you can do one of 8 things.
That's right.
So Bonfire, really good. Love it.
Cool. My number 8 is Bonfire.
You're one ahead of me.
That's right. You're right. Bonfire was a great game. And normally, I haven't played many Stefan. I shouldn't say many. I played a few Stefan Felds. Not by no means have I played his entire catalog of games, but I really did enjoy the experience of Bonfire.
Okay, my number 8 is also Stefan Feld, and this is Strasbourg. So this is coming in surprisingly low. I was thinking this was going to be quite high for me. I was very high on this for a while. But what I noticed is that this is a great game for me. I really like all of the mechanisms that are going on in this game. And it's quite easy to get to the table. It's medium weight. Basically, Strasbourg is just a series of auctions. But I also recognize that there is a lot of swinginess in kind of... You get these cards at the beginning of the game that kind of are endgame scoring cards. And those can be quite swingy. And there's just, throughout the game, if you miss an auction, like if you get outbid, that can really mess you up. So this is a game that really does ride a fine line, where it's like a good experience is great and a bad experience is awful, right? So again, I've had largely good experiences, and so I really like it. But as I've been reflecting on it since the summer, I'm like, yes, there's like, you can poke some holes in this design, but there's nothing that's going to keep me from loving it. But just for the sake of others, I felt like I had to be a little more objective. In the best for 2022, this is coming in at number 8.
Wow, cool. Yes, I know you talked about this a lot. Still haven't played it. Should get it to the table at some point.
It's tough when you're over, because usually just the 2 of us playing something, and we need 3. And
well, continuing on in the Vladimir Suchy line, this is Pulsar 2849.
That was new to you this year.
That was like early new, like it was like a January game.
Okay,
because
that made it onto your top 100.
Yes, exactly. That was
you kind of pushed it
I put it on after, as I was ranking the games, I played it, and I didn't have enough time to like put it into the actual ranking system, so I just had to like find a home for it. Polestar 2849. Oh man, it's like you're taking dice and you're using the like kind of drafting dice to do different things, but yeah, just lots of different like options. You can build satellites. You could try to get to every star or quasar that's like scattered throughout the cosmos. You could do like anything you want. There's lots of different options. There's like this whole like end game kind of like tech tree where there's like these end game bonuses, but they're not like available until you like get the bottom layer, and then you kind of like move up, sort of unlock different sort of end game abilities and bonuses and scoring and stuff. So really an interesting game.
It's funny. I still haven't figured you out yet, Father Greg. Because here's the thing, right? Like if I introduce you to a heavy game, you are exasperated.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, okay, fine, all right, like, okay. Like you're just so mad at me as I'm explaining the rule set. And yet, there are plenty of heavy games.
Oh, for sure.
This in your game, top games, and you love them. So, like, if you're in the driver's seat, you're fine. But if someone is like impressing this upon you, you get a little.
So most of my Vladimir Sushi games I don't own. Most of them Father Dan owns. So he's usually the one teaching me.
Oh yes.
But
right, no, I understand what's happening now.
I think
Father Dan's your favorite. I get it.
I think Vladimir Suchi, like his games, there's a lot going on, but like it's like there's a lot of mechanisms, but each mechanism is relatively straightforward. Instead of like one really convoluted worker placement, it's like, oh, there's worker placement with card drafting, with dice, and with action selection, and there's this rondelle here, and then there's this thing and this thing. But they're all like relatively simple, and so
you can get your head around each piece.
Yeah.
7th top 10 game 2022 for me. Skull King, baby.
Oh my god.
This is so good, man.
Wow.
What? Okay, there's going to be games that are like this for you, I'm sure, that are just like good old fun for the whole family. Let's just make this happen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Listen here. So I was not a fan of trick taking. I didn't understand trick taking. I didn't like trick taking. People try to play the crew with me. They would get mad at me because I didn't know what I was doing. Skull King opened up the world of trick taking for me. Fox in the Forest made a little crack, and then Skull King just broke it wide open. I just love Skull King. You can play with a bunch of people.
Yep.
You can get the family together. You can everyone is familiar with enough of the basic concept, and then it just throws these nice little wrinkles where every card in the game can be beat, and there's a card that just like ruins everything for everyone. And so it's just like nothing is certain.
No, for sure. This game like is a slight variation on many a card game. So like I've heard this game called a million different things, up and down the river, up and down the ladder, sheep's turds. I don't know. Like I've heard it called a million different things. But yes, Skull King's a little artistic variation on it. But,
that's right. And artistic. The art. So good.
Well, number 6 is not light game. This time an Alexander Pfister game, and that is Boone Lake.
Boone Lake.
So Boone
she
Lake.
made it, boys.
Yeah. It's there's just something, I don't know, it's like the action selection mechanism is really, really interesting, where it's like there's this kind of ladder of things, and so you can do any of the things on the ladder, but if you generally want to do the things at the top will allow you to move further on the river. The things at the very bottom will cost you victory points if you do them.
Okay.
But then like when you pick an action, it slides down to the bottom, and then like everything else kind of slides up. You're constantly kind of like, there's this action maybe both of you want to do, but you do it, and all of a sudden now your opponent like can't do it or could do it, but it's going to cost him a lot until he lets it kind of like slide up the river a little bit. So There's always this kind of like, oh, how long do I wait, as this thing goes up?
Yeah, I love games that have a core mechanism that just has a lot of tension like that, like a lot of decision space where you can do the thing you want to do always, but it might not be best to do it. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, no, really cool game.
Well, my number 6 is very similar in that regard, in that core mechanism that brings everything else to life, and this is Ark Nova.
What?
Ark Nova.
What the hell?
Yeah, man, it made it. I just couldn't get it out of my head as I was just like choosing which was better than what. I was like, man, Something special about Ark Nova.
Wow, this came out of left field. When I was looking at my top games, I was like, oh, Ark Nova. Yeah, that was a good game. Dan hated that. I was like, oh man, there's no way. Wow.
No, I didn't hate it. I didn't do very well.
Right.
But like I really liked it, right? So you have your 5 action selection cards. And depending on where they are, they do a more or less powerful thing.
That's right.
And so then when you do them, they slide back to the front of the line.
Right.
And so it's that same kind of thing. Where, and then you can upgrade them, but you're only ever going to get 4 out of the 5 upgrades max throughout the game. The upgrades are good, and so you're always sacrificing 1 or 2 major upgrades throughout the course of the game. And so that core tension there makes this game really sweet. And again, just consistent art and really cool interactive mechanisms, building your little zoo out. There's lots of good things about it. I really liked Ark Nova.
But this game that's coming up next, I like more than Ark Nova. And that is Nidavellir.
Wow!
So Nidavellir is this was like a January, like this was like the first week of January kind of game.
Really?
Yeah, at least that you taught to me.
So this was new to me too then?
Maybe, I don't know. Was that the first time we played it?
I'm trying to think if I played it with you first.
Nidavellir just is
okay, because
so interesting.
If the first time I played it was the first time you played it,
right,
then this should be on my list too.
So Nidavellir just has this really interesting kind of like, I don't know what you call it, like auction advancement system where you're bidding on these things, but over time you can get more bidding tokens and you can like sacrifice bidding power in this round to grow in bidding power over the future rounds. And so it's like you're bidding on these cards, but eventually you might see a card, you're like, I don't really need this card. I'm going to instead save my money to like buy a better coin, a better sort of bidding power.
You always have the same number of bidding tokens, but then you can like combine them to
That's right.
Get a new one.
That's right. But then also like when you use those bidding tokens, like in order to upgrade, you also have to like lose one of your like the highest of the 2 that you put together. So that's gone, but it is an upgrade, but it's like, oh man, I didn't even lost that 8 token. I gained a 13, but like, oh man, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's an excellent wrinkle to a drafting game. Because really at core after that, it's just your drafting.
That's right. Very simple.
But how you draft is by having this auctioning power. And you have to choose whether you're going to go for great cards or kind of invest in your auction that round.
Yeah, no, love it.
Cool. My number 5 is The King is Dead. The King is Dead, baby. Holy Toledo. This game, the reason why this has made the list for me is that it is half hour to 45 minutes to play, regardless of the player count. And it packs just a crunch, man. Like, this is a bite to it. Like, this keeps you thinking. It's tricky. Some guys were over last night, and we had kind of 2 tables going, so one of the tables of guys, they were playing this, and I was talking to one of the guys this morning at church, and he was like, yeah, it's tricky, man, like, because the whole thing is that you play an action card to manipulate the troops on the board, and you're kind of investing in a particular color of troop to win. That's right. You don't own them necessarily, but you're kind of like getting influence in that army. But to do that, once you play an action card, you remove a cube from the board. And so then you're taking away that faction's influence. So it's this real tug of war, push and pull, trying to make things work. Excellent. And just like 8 cards is all you have. So at max, you're going to play 8 cards throughout the entire game. Woo! When a game can do so much with so little, it's admirable. Right. The King is Dead.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm still in the midst of like doing my full like ranking all of my games for the year. I'm like 75% of the way through, but every time Brian Boru and The King is Dead come up, I have to like go onto BGG and look at pictures to remember which one's which, because I keep getting them confused. I'm like, wait, which is the one with the cubes and which is the one with all the tokens?
Yeah, for sure.
But they're both good.
They are both good. Yes. Pierce Sylvester, you did a good thing.
Cool.
Twice.
So my next game, this is an old classic. This is a game that's been out. I don't know when it was released. It's been on my. It has not even been on my want to play list. This is a game that I've probably actively avoided.
Okay.
Because it's an Uwe Rosenberg game, and it's a beast of an Uwe Rosenberg game. This is Fields of Arle.
Wow, this was new to you this year.
I've never played Fields of Arl.
Whoa.
It's, man, like, I give Uwe Rosenberg a hard time, and I probably don't like a lot of his games, but I get Fields of Arl. Like, Fields of Arl is his, like, I just felt Uwe Rosenberg's, like, I understood him when I played that game. I was like, Uwe, like, I get it now. I get it, man.
This is my theory. You are an Uwe Rosenberg fan who used to hate Uwe Rosenberg when you were dumb.
That's right.
And now you're smart. And so you like him now. And you're just like, your dumb self is being like, he's stupid. But like your smart self is going to discover that he's actually an excellent game designer.
It's just all of his games are very, very similar, but Fields of Arl is like, it's phenomenal. Like, there is a whole book in the game that is not rules, that is just like the history of Arl. Like the history of this one small town in northern Germany. But like, this is like his home. Like, this is like where you grew up. This is where he lives. This is his life. Like, and you get that, like, that homey character. Like, this is a game that he poured his heart into, and like, I could feel it in there. What I like about this is, so what I don't like about Uwe Rosenberg games is lots of different tiles, specifically in a market.
Yeah.
So a lot of like different tiles that just keep showing up and keep disappearing as players take them. This has lots of tiles, but they're no market. Like, the tiles that are there the whole game.
Right.
And so like, there's a ton of action spots. There's probably like 20, 30 different spots that you can put a worker in.
Yeah.
You can only do like half of them in the winter and half of them in the spring or whatever. But there's a lot going on. There's like a lot of different things, but knowing that they're never changing, that like throughout the whole game, all of those tiles are all gonna, like, somebody might go and buy a tile, but then it just goes away. Nothing takes its spot, you know? And so like knowing like, oh, here are all of the various actions I can do. Cool. Yeah. I get you, Uwe. I get you.
Okay, my next best game of 2022, Cyclades. This was early on in the year.
Yeah.
When we first played this with Sarah, and she kicked our butts. Mm-hmm. And Cyclades has been with me ever since. I just love this auction-based dudes on a map war game. It's fantastic. It's so good. Mm-hmm. It has all these little wrinkles. Again, I've said it a million times. I love a dudes on a map game that you can win without necessarily paying attention to winning battle victories.
Right.
You know, like the main win condition in this game is building 2 metropolises. Mm-hmm. And so you're just trying to figure out ways to build these buildings, to get them out there. And you can do it by not being too in your face with the battle mechanisms. Mm-hmm. You gotta defend yourself well. But man, one of the last times I played Cyclades, I got this creature right at the right time, and because of the order of play of the creatures, I was able to really milk that for all it was worth. So I intentionally took the last action space, mm-hmm. the kind of like dud action, only so that I could like beef up my economy and keep people from being able to attack me for another full round, mm-hmm. and then I was ready to win the game. Mm. Oh man, so good. Cyclades?
I remember the first time we played this, and Sarah had bought it for you. Mm-hmm. And then after we played, she's like, "Oh, this is the game that I bought you." Like, oh, this is weird. Yes. But we enjoyed it.
yes, we did.
Good times. This was another game that we both played early on in the year that we reviewed together. And that is Radlands.
Radlands! You're number 3?
Man, Radlands is just, it's just slick.
Just as we were getting used to doing videos together.
That's right.
We were doing the Radlands review, yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of our first videos together. And just playing down these cards, just a little like, I'm addicted to Marvel Snap right now.
Okay, you got the bug.
And like Radlands is just in that same vein, just that like quick like card battler against each other. It just like it works really well, and
that's cool. No, I like Radlands. I just don't like this kind of game, and so it's hard for me. You're gonna be hard pressed to find me asking to play Radlands. But if someone was like, "Hey, do you want to play a dueling? You have to play a dueling card game." Then I would say, well, okay, Radlands.
Right.
Okay, my number 3, you're going to punch me in the face.
Nice.
The Isle of Cats.
Oh no. No, you cannot. This is horrible. This is terrible.
This is not. This is such a good game. So here's the thing for me. It's like, I love a heavy Euro game. I love, complex games. I love, whatever else. But, like, there's a certain level of gameplay, like that medium weight, that just, like, if you can do that well, if you can pull that off well, you'll have my heart forever. And so for me, Isle of Cats, it is kind of, there's been a trend lately in gaming that has been, okay, we don't have anything new to do, so let's just take, like, a bunch of unique things and then mash them together in a game. And there's some that are doing that really well, and I think that Isle of Cats does that very well. You might disagree, but I think, it does the drafting phase thing well, it does the polyomino thing well, it does kind of endgame scoring cards well. You basically got a hand of cards, and there's like 5 different types of cards that are used in different ways, and so it can be overwhelming. So, like,
Sacred Heart of Jesus.
It's not quite like a family level game. You can't just, like, falls on that fault line where gamers are kind of like, this is a little too light for me, and families are like, this is way too crazy for me. So it gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. But Isle of Cats, I have a great time every time I play this. I like the nuances of having to spend cards to buy cats, and good stuff.
All right. Well, whatever. My number 2 this game is about 3 years, I guess, but Cryptid.
Cryptid made it.
Yeah, man.
Sadly, it didn't make mine.
Right.
I liked it.
That's fine.
I liked it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so, I don't know. There's just something about this game that just does something. Like, this is not a complex game, and you can play it with the simple rules. A game is over in like 10 minutes, especially once you know what you're doing.
Right.
With the advanced rules, a little bit more. There's a little bit more thinking power, certainly, that goes into it. I would actually like. There's a significant amount more that goes into the advanced rule set, but yeah, just this really interesting thing. Like, everybody's just got like one little clue, but that all points to one spot on the map, and just trying to figure out what that is. It's just a fascinating little puzzle.
It's a brilliant design. Like, it's really like impressive that they were able to pull off what they do with 4 clues all leading to one spot only. Like, that's very good. Yeah, no, very good. My number 2, my second favorite board game for 2022. You're going to want to punch me again.
Is there a sequel to Isle of Cats that I don't know about?
This is, well, speaking of sequels, this is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition.
Oh my gosh.
I loved this game. Oh my goodness. So the love that people have for Terraforming Mars, I only understand after playing Ares Expedition. Terraforming Mars had too many other pieces, barriers to get to the heart of what people love about it. Just that engine building, tableau building, magic that Terraforming Mars does have. Ares Expedition, for me, cuts through all the fat and gets to that magic sauce immediately. And I just love it. I think it's so fun. It's a thrill every time I play it. I just feel like the whole game is just that sensation of whee as I'm just building out.
Wow, man, oh man, that surprised me that this game is that high, because I enjoy Terraforming Mars. You did not enjoy it nearly as much.
No, I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would.
Right, but like Ares Expedition, I mean, is just like, generally I avoid any game that's like Dune Imperium, the card game.
Right.
I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
And just like, why would you take away the glory of Terraforming Mars and get rid of the board? And oh man,
I think it just gives the heart of the experience in a much more direct way, straight to the veins, man.
Right.
I like it a lot. Okay, Father Greg, your best game of 2022.
Yeah.
This is it, party people.
So this is one that I just recently played, just last week. But man, this is a good one, and that's another Vladimir Suchi.
Wow!
And this is Messina 1347.
Wow!
And this is a 2022 actual game, and it's just oh man,
your best game of 2022 is this.
I mean, I just played it, but like, oh man, when I was looking at the list, I was like, oh man, it's got this. The plague has hit Messina. All of these merchant boats are bringing in the plague. I was trying to figure out if he like started designing that. Like, if he had this idea before or after COVID, I couldn't decide.
Right.
But like time frame was like he would have had to start like the brainchild of like organizing this game like I don't know early like 2020.
Yeah.
So who knows? But yeah, you're like going into the plague. You're like rescuing builders and nobles and nuns from like the plague infested city, and you're like bringing them back into your little village. But if there's the plague in their city, they have to go into like quarantine for a little bit. And like you have these little cabins that you've built like on your property that just house people for like a select number of weeks before they eventually make it out.
That's an interesting theme.
It is. And like but then like your estate, you've got this, I don't know, like so all your people once they get out of your quarantine houses, they go into your like estate and there they can do certain things, but I don't know, you've got this little like token that like moves around the board and it's like you have to move it around and like get all these things. But then you're also trying to build buildings to house more people in quarantine and to give you more like income each round. But then you've also got ships that maybe you want to, I don't know, maybe you want to go and clear the plague off of ships. Or maybe you want to instead just go and get a bunch of gold and move up some tracks. And just move up a monastery track. That sounds good. Or move up a plague track. Sounds good. Or maybe you want to build cities. There's just a lot going on. Lots of little like delightful things. But they just fit together so well. Like this is just Suchi is just like
Vladimir Suchi stole your heart in 2022.
He's done some magic recently, man. His games are so good right now.
That's funny. So I can't blame you here because my number one game for 2022 is also a game that I recently played. And it's just fresh on my mind, but there's no going back now. And this is Dwellings of Eldervale.
Okay.
Dwellings of Eldervale, again, in that vein of a game that just brings all the mechanisms, but works so well. Like, this is at heart a worker placement game where you place your workers out to gain resources, to be able to gain cards into your tableau, to be able to get resources that you can then use to acquire new workers and these kinds of things. All your typical kind of worker placement stuff, but you have worker placement spaces where you go out, and then when you call back your workers, in the tableau that you've built, there's now worker placement spaces where when you call them back, you place them there and get another kind of mini round of worker placement all to yourself in that recall round, which just keeps things going. Every turn is exciting. Every turn you're doing something. But the neat thing is that the whole game is about dwellings. And the main kind of core worker that you place out, in order to create a dwelling, you pay resources on the tile that worker is, and you place a little roof on that worker. So you're making a dwelling, which is going to score you more points at the end of the game, depending on the corresponding element track, but you lose that worker.
The worker turns into a building.
The worker turns into a building.
Wow.
Those
Some
little
aggressive
wrinkles,
architecture.
those little wrinkles make for a delightful game. Like, and everything about this game is about moving up these tracks. Is always just it makes for a streamlined, simple goal. Like, like what am I trying to do in this game? You just want to do all the things that will get you up those tracks. So just do everything you can to do that. Focus on a few of them and go. Dwellings of Eldervale. Double thumbs, way up, all that nonsense. I highly recommend it. It is a big box game. It's fairly expensive, but it's worth it. It is very much worth it. A bunch of guys at the last church board game night, 5 of them played it. They played for about, it was a 3.5 hour game or so. They went an hour past our end time.
Wow.
Rude, but like they all really enjoyed it. They were all really into it. So Dwellings of Eldervale is my best game for 2022. Yours is Messina 1325.
1347. Yeah, come on, man. Who doesn't know that Messina in 1347 was the epicenter of the plague?
Yes. Who doesn't know that indeed? All right, party people. So that's our list. Let us know down in the comments below what games were your favorite for 2022. And if you like this video, please share it. Please like it. It really helps. Please comment down below. We just want to share the love and joy of board games with more people. So just help us do that by pushing us along whatever algorithmic roads you can exert some influence. So until next time, party people.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you messed that up on purpose.